If you struggle to pray the Rosary every day, I have 10 solutions I think you're going to love. I fully understand the difficulty of trying to pray the Rosary every day. You have kids and school and work and other commitments, but we were told at Fatima, pray the Rosary every day for reparation of sin, for the salvation of our families, for the salvation of the world. We know that Father Patrick Peyton, the Rosary priest, always said the family that prays together stays together. And praying the Rosary just gives you more peace. So why wouldn't you want to pray it every single day? Well, because it can be a challenge. It can be difficult to get into the habit of praying the Rosary, but I have some ideas that I think are going to make it a little bit easier for you. And keep in mind that, of course, while reverence is very, very important, it's also important to just get in the habit of praying the Rosary every day. So these are ideas that you wouldn't want to necessarily pray your Rosary every day in these ways, but if you're struggling to pray your Rosary or get in that habit, or if you have a day where you are just trying to get the Rosary in, and I know that sounds terrible, but you know what I mean, then let these be some ideas of encouragement to help you to get into that habit a little bit more often. Now, a lot of the ideas that I'm going to share with you today kind of bank on the assumption that you have learned how to make your own all-twine knotted rosaries. If not, it's not too late. You can always go to rosaryarmy.com/make, watch the videos, download the instructions, and get started today. Even if you haven't started making your own rosaries and you have rosaries lying around, I think you're going to find a lot of these ideas very inspirational and helpful. The first and foremost, and I tell this to our kids, and it doesn't always work with all of our kids, but always carry a rosary with you. If you can carry your phone, you can carry a rosary. Simply having the rosary on you, when the opportunity arises, you'll say, hey, I have my rosary. I can actually pray my rosary right now. And speaking of which, have a bowl of rosaries. Yes, a bowl of rosaries. Some people have bowls of nuts, some people have bowls of candy. In our house, we have bowls of rosary in various places, so that no matter where we are, we always have a rosary within arm's reach. And when other people come over to visit and we want to pray a rosary with them, there's always plenty of rosaries to go around. Another idea that I find really helpful is to always carry not only a rosary, but a single-decade chaplet of the rosary. For many people, it's a lot more convenient to take out a single-decade chaplet. It's a little less conspicuous, and if you're in line at the grocery store, if you are walking around the neighborhood, having a single-decade chaplet wrapped around your finger makes it a lot easier just to pray the rosary as you go along. Some people like to break up their rosary and spread it throughout the day, praying a decade 5 times throughout the day to make one full rosary. So you might pray a decade as you're getting ready for work in the morning. You might pray another decade at your midday break, another at lunch, another in the afternoon, another on your way home, or one time before you go to bed, and boom, there you go, you've prayed a rosary today. So always having a second chaplet is a great option, and it's a great reminder. And if you're praying with other people, again, and they don't have a rosary, you can loan them your chaplet, except when you're dealing with 12-year-old boys and you're praying around a campfire and they actually throw your chaplet into the fire. I'm talking to you, Jude. I mentioned this briefly before, but it bears repeating. Always keep an extra spare rosary in your car, or it could be a chaplet if you get your rosary tangled around your steering wheel. Perhaps that's a safer option for you. And always leave an extra rosary or chaplet on your exercise equipment, not your free weights, of course, because that will lead to injury, but your treadmill, your exercise bike, your elliptical, all fair game, all great opportunities to pray the rosary as you're getting your calories burning. Now, this is just kind of fun, and if you're a parent with small kids, they might enjoy this. When you see in the background that blue rosary back there, well, that's actually made out of a huge chunk of rope. We call that our giant family rosary, and for those days when our kids were younger, we used to call it family rosary wrestling. The children always enjoy taking turns holding and leading the decades of the rosary using this giant rosary, and so that might be a challenge for you. We got that rope at a hardware store. Just go and look in the boating or the rock climbing section, though most hardware stores don't have rock climbing sections, but REI, those kinds of places, you can find rope like that. It's beautiful rope too, by the way. Made this with an 8-inch St. Benedict's crucifix to make it even more beautiful. Another idea to help you get your rosary in more frequently, or maybe just to get an extra rosary in on a regular basis, is always keep a rosary on your nightstand or even under your pillow. And if you're having difficulty falling asleep, or you wake up in the middle of the night, just grab your rosary, start praying, and experience peaceful bliss. Now, the next 3 ideas might be a little unorthodox, but they help me get my rosary in, particularly on days where I'm very busy. The first one is to have a chaplet in the kitchen. Just hang it from one of the doorknobs on your cabinet, and as you are waiting for a watched pot to boil, pray a chaplet instead, or 2, or 3, or 4, and next thing you know, you've prayed your rosary. A really strange solution that I came up with was I actually made a shower rosary. I oftentimes find myself when I'm in the shower thinking about things that are troubling me, and I decided one day that I would try praying a decade while I was in the shower using my fingers. Well, that was a little troublesome and I kept dropping the soap. So instead I decided I was going to make a shower chaplet, and I made the shower chaplet and I just hung it over the handle for the hot and cold water. And it's worked out really well. And then the last idea I'm really proud of. We live in Georgia and it gets really hot in the summers when we have to mow the grass. And so I oftentimes want to wait until the very end of the day to mow the lawn. Well, that's also when we typically pray our family rosary. So I will go out and mow the grass while the rest of the family prays the rosary inside, and I will pray my rosary while I mow using my fingers. Again, very difficult, and I would oftentimes lose my place as I was pushing the lawnmower. So one night I came up with the idea and I made a lawnmower rosary out of a little bit bigger cord. This is paracord or something like that. I got it at the hardware store. And I made a decade that I could then attach directly to the handle of the lawnmower. And as I push the lawnmower, I can just work down the line and pray the rosary as I go. And it's super helpful. Loved having this over the past summer. So again, there's really no excuse not to be praying your rosary every day as our Blessed Mother directed us at Fatima. It's good for you, it's good for our families, and it's good for the world. We need to be doing it. We need more Rosary Army soldiers taking on the commitment of praying the rosary every single day. And it doesn't have to always be drudgery or a difficulty. So if you struggle, hopefully one or more of these ideas will help you to be a little bit more dedicated in praying your rosary. I'm going to share more ideas of how you can make the rosary a part of your dedicated daily prayer life. So stick around for that in future editions of News from Headquarters. Until next time, make them, pray them, and give them away. God bless.